Spanish language broadcast available today on Fox Deportes, and we're glad you're with us. The winner of this game will head to Atlanta and Super Bowl 53 on the 3rd of February. Saw that quick shot of Sean Payton. He's been here before, 1-1 in championship games as a head coach with the Saints. He and Drew Brees and company won Super Bowl 44 back after the 09 season. To the 25 it comes. Well, what do you think, Troy? Does this come down to Drew Brees against Jared Goff? I know they're not on the field at the same time, but you've got the vet, future Hall of Famer, the all-time passing yardage leader in Drew Brees taking on a young man who is facing his first road playoff test.
Well, in a way, it kind of does. I mean, obviously, you've got a guy in Drew Brees, obviously experienced. He's been in this game before. I think that serves him well. Jared Goff having won his first playoff game last week, but the NFC Championship game is a different animal.
Brees can't find anywhere to go with it. Was under pressure eventually as Aaron Donald got there along with Fowler. And with Michael Thomas, the intended receiver, Drew Brees just threw it away. The number 8 overall ranked offense, and they've got 2 Pro Bowlers up front in their center, Max Unger, and their left tackle, Teron Armstead.
And their left guard, Andrus Peat, who had surgery on his right hand during the bye week. He was able to play last week and was effective.
Here's Kamara. 3rd and long coming up. Kamara got a yard. Forward progress will give him 2. It'll bring up 3rd down and 8. And we'll look at this defense, which is number 19th during the regular season, but they just flat out shut down the Dallas Cowboys last weekend. We were there on Saturday night.
Well, it was their best defensive effort that they've had all season long. They were suspect in the run game throughout the season. I thought Ndamukong Suh was excellent, as was Michael Brockers, along with Dante Fowler, and of course Aaron Donald is his usual self.
1, 2, 3, ready. You ready? Set.
3rd down and 8. Brees fires, pass is caught. Ted Ginn and a 1st down. Ginn was injured and not available for the Saints in that Week 9 matchup, and a guy who can still take the top off a defense is good for 9.
Well, he knew right where the markers were, where he had to get to in order to pick up the 1st down, and Brees with time makes an easy completion, and that would have been an accomplishment had the Rams had forced a 3-and-out. Both of these offenses, the Saints and the Rams, top 2 teams in the fewest 3-and-outs.
Quick snap. Ingram picks his way through the Ram defense and gets 9. Where he's brought down by John Johnson.
You see Aaron Donald in the middle, and you're going to attract a lot of attention if you're Aaron Donald, and he gets the double team. They're able to push him out of the way, and Mark Ingram, he picks up a nice gain there on 1st down.
And becomes the all-time Saints rushing leader for yardage on the ground during the regular season and the postseason. Passing Deuce McAllister. Another quick snap, another carry, and this time Ingram is swallowed up. Play was made by Dante Fowler. A loss of 2, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
Well, I've talked about it before when we've had the Saints and when we've had the Rams, that they do so many good things within the passing game that you tend to forget that these offenses are built around their ability to run the football, and these defensive coaches know it. They stack the line there on 2nd and short and make a good play to force another 3rd down.
Here you go. Ready. Ready. Set.
Brees floats it. Pass. What a beauty. Kamara with a 1st down. 21 yards on 3rd down and 3, and Drew Brees could not have lofted that ball any better.
Well, you're going to see John Franklin Myers is the one who has to drop because of the coverage, and all of a sudden he's locked up one-on-one with a Kamara, and this Drew Brees is going to locate those matchup issues, and they got Wade Phillips there. He thought that maybe they could create something within their scheme, but They isolate him on Kamara, and just no way they're going to be able to make a play on him.
Just got it away. Breeze passes, caught. Kamara again. A couple of third down conversions now, 14 yards on first down, and this crowd, which is quiet while the Saints have the ball, starting to make some noise as it sits at the Ram 21.
Well, they tried playing some man-to-man coverage the last time these two teams played, and nobody could man up with Alvin Kamara. Few people can, but there's some communication issues in the secondary on that play, and just enough in order for Kamara to get a step.
Mike 2-6, Mike 2-6. Ready. You ready? Set.
On first down, Breeze comes back to his left and just throws it away. Arnold the closest one to it. Remember, this was a Rams defense that held the Cowboys to 1 for 10 on third down last Saturday night. Breeze and company, they've converted twice on third down on this first possession.
And that was a difference in this game week 9, Joe, was how successful the Saints were converting on third downs. They converted 58% in that game, and they were also 5 for 5 once they got into the red zone. So these are critical moments in a game and important parts of the field in order for the Rams. Yeah, you've given up some yards, but can they make a stop?
Breeze faked it to Kamara, comes back to the far side of the field. The first catch for Thomas, but he's covered by Talib. It was Michael Thomas against Marcus Peters for the majority of the day, and Michael Thomas just went off against the Rams in week number 9. 12 catches, 211 yards, a touchdown. That time it was Talib working against him.
Yeah, not all of those catches were against Marcus Peters, but the dagger that essentially ended the game was the 72-yard touchdown when the Saints had just a 3-point lead with 4 minutes to play, and that was not covered very well. But you're going to see not nearly as much man coverage in today's game from the last time they played.
Timeout, New Orleans. Play clock was winding down, and Drew Brees will come over to the sideline and talk to Sean Payton. Let's take a look back at week 9. Touchdown Saints! Tie game!
And this dome has gotten awfully quiet.
They were going to travel Marcus to him, and that was fine by us.
Thomas!
We really like that matchup.
He's gone!
A lot. Tell Sean Payton we're going to see him soon.
So they combined for 80 points. The Saints, which at one point they had a 21-point lead in the second quarter. The Rams and Jared Goff came back to tie them, but the Saints scored the last 10 points of the ball game, and it's because of the result of that game that this game is in New Orleans and not in Southern California.
Yeah, and we thought it might be. We thought that might be the result. The Rams were 8-0 at the time. The Saints were 6-1, and it was a playoff atmosphere here. So a lot of discussion about the crowd noise. The Rams certainly have to deal with that, but how much louder can it be compared to when they last played?
You can just feel the tension in this stadium right now. At the 19, it's 3rd and 7.
You ready?
Breeze to the end zone. Pass is dropped by Arnold. Had it for a moment, couldn't secure it. And that'll bring up 4th down.
That would have been a heck of a play because Drew Brees places this perfectly. There's 2 defenders. You got Mark Barron. He's there. And you've also got Blake Countess and 2 guys that are capable of making a play on the ball, but yet Brees is able to put it on Arnold's back shoulder, and one that he very easily could have caught for the touchdown. But nevertheless, the Rams being able to get off the field with potentially just 3 points in a game like this, that's a win.
And if it is 3, it'll mean Will Lutz knocked it through from 37 yards out. Had a great year. Missed only twice during the regular season, missed once last week against Philly, and the Saints take their first possession down the field, get 3. Goff and company to work when we come back. Welcome back to the NFC Championship, presented by Intuit TurboTax, live at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome Our aerial coverage is brought to you by State Farm. Now the crowd is alive with the Rams about to get the football. We'll revisit that missed opportunity in the end zone after the kickoff by Lutz. And a chance here for Natson. Not much room. And a flag down. Natson able to cross the 20. We'll see if the foul will move it back inside.
We need to block it back. Receiving team on 41. After this is the ball. First down.
I mentioned how the Rams were going to play more zone. You see Aqib Talib and then Michael Thomas. They dropped John Johnson in to help double him. And here's the drop by Dan Arnold, which is significant, obviously. A ball that, good catch, but he could have made. And he's going to get more playing time today because of that guy right there, Ben Watson, who is not in uniform today. He had an illness throughout the week, and it's fairly significant. He's their third leading receiver. And the last time these two teams met, he had one of his best games of the year.
Little play action to start the day, and the pass is caught by Robert Woods. Covered by Williams and forced out after a gain of 7, and you want ear-splitting noise. This is a good place to find it.
I like that play, though, by Sean McVay, the first play of the game. Even though you're backed up after the penalty on the kickoff return, come out, let Jared Goff get an easy completion. I talked about how the NFC Championship game is a different animal. Wild card games, divisional games, that's one thing. These teams know they're one game away from making it to the Super Bowl. Their goals when they came into the season, you can feel the intensity in the air, and it's not lost on either quarterback.
Here's Gurley, and the play is made by Davis. Hey, Demario Davis doesn't get a lot of headlines around the NFL, but he has been nothing short of spectacular for the Saints.
Yeah, he was a key acquisition for them, and a guy that does kind of fly under the radar, and all he's done since he's come into this league is make tackles just like that. He's sensational. He's a tackling machine, but he also, with his speed, matches up very well in pass coverage.
3rd down and 7. Good protection. Pass is picked off the hands of Gurley and into the arms of Demario Davis.
Well, David Onyemata, you're going to see the move that he makes and that he's able to get pressure on Jared Goff, which forces him to kind of come back on his heels and try to make a throw, but still with that. This is one that Gurley should catch. A costly deflection.
For Jared Goff, he'd gone 123 passes without being picked. His head coach with a nod, trying to keep things positive. Davis did not have a pick during the regular season. You mentioned Onyemata, more on him because of the loss of Sheldon Rankins with a torn Achilles in the first quarter against the Eagles last week, and Onyemata applied the pressure.
Hey, check. 5-8. Check. Ready. We're waiting. What's that?
Here's Ingram. Good play by Littleton. Tackle made after a gain of 1.
Well, you talk about setting up this Saints offense inside the 20-yard line. They're one of the best in the National Football League at capitalizing and scoring touchdowns when they get down in this situation. And well, they have backed the Rams up. And can Wade Phillips and this defensive unit come up with a key stop here early in this ball game, already down 3.
Easy, kill. Like 2-6. Ready. Ready. What's that?
2nd and 9. Pass is incomplete. Traquan Smith was the target, and he was hooked up with Nickel Roby-Coleman, a good slot corner. for the Rams.
Yeah, and I think it was a good non-call by the officials. Nikel Roby-Coleman, the slot defender, he's kind of in position. And as a defender, a lot of times you see contact, you immediately are looking for a yellow flag on the defense. But he's entitled to a position on the field as well, and he was positioned. And Traquan Smith is the one who ran into him. So I have a good non-call.
3rd down and 9. Quick throw, Kamara looking for blocks, doesn't get enough. And another good job as Corey Littleton got out there to make the stop of forcing the field goal unit onto the field by this Ram defense.
That's a great job. A 3-and-out, like I said earlier. This is not an offense for either team that is accustomed to 3-and-outs, but they're backed up. They got to be able to make a stop, not go down by 2 possessions early in this game, and they're able to do so.
29-yard try. Lutz just hit from 37. Saints double their lead, but after the interception on the deflection, 2 red zone stops by the Ram defense. 6-0 home team. Well, as Troy mentioned earlier, the Saints were 5 for 5 in scoring touchdowns in the red zone the last time they hosted the Rams. 0 for 2 today. So they turned the second career interception by Demario Davis in his first since 2013 into 3. And it's 6-0 New Orleans. Doesn't want to take it out. Chris Myers, what's going on down there with Jared Goff's helmet?
Well, after that interception, Joe, he came over to the Rams sideline and part of the equipment staff. They swapped out helmets checking, and they're over here working on the transmission of the audio into Goff's helmet. You know, Sean McVay told us that he can crank up the volume, but the problem is there's overmodulation. I'm told that the problem has been corrected, and you can hear the noise. Joe, Troy?
Yeah, well, if you're ever going to need a speaker and the ability to turn it up, it would be here in New Orleans. Play action. That's Robert Woods. And a strong tackle by A.J. Klein. Woods almost got away, but a loss of 1.
Really great tackle by A.J. Klein. I'll follow up on what Chris Myers said. It is significant, obviously, the communication, but Sean McVay would still be able to get plays into Jared Goff. It would just be through signals. The difference is that the times that he's able to talk to Jared Goff up to the 15 seconds on the play clock would be hard to continue with if Goff can't hear him, obviously. So that's where the disadvantage comes for the Rams with the noise or with issues with the helmet communication.
Here's Gurley, not much. 3rd and long coming up. Gain of just 3.
I'll say, Joe, we came into this game talking about the improved play by both of these defenses, and it has shown up. The Rams able to force a field goal on the opening possession. The Saints getting the interception, and then, of course, the Rams holding them to another field goal. We'll see what the Saints are able to do on the second possession for the Los Angeles Rams.
Third down and 8. Goff throws, pass incomplete for Woods. So a pick, albeit on a deflection, the first possession, and now a 3-and-out.
Well, they run this wrap 6 route is what they call it by Robert Woods, and the Saints are in zone coverage, and in Goff, you know, he had a shot. If he's holding the ball a little bit longer, there's a window he can lay that into, but the linebacker gets underneath it. He's having to navigate him, and it results in a high throw.
No flag as Hecker ended up on the deck. And the ball checks up outside the 30, a 41-yard punt by Hecker. Third possession coming up for the Saints. who lead this championship game by 6. We were here 2009 season for the NFC Championship game, a game that went to overtime with the Vikings and the Saints. It was a Garrett Hartley field goal that sent the Saints to the Super Bowl, which they won over Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts. There's a little walk down the sideline between two young guys. Second-year head coach Sean McVay and third-year quarterback Jared Goff. 2 possessions, no first downs for the Rams. Here's Hill with blocking. The tight end and a full head of steam inside LA territory. A catch and run of 24 yards.
They're in a 2-deep shell, but Aqib Talib here, you're going to see he plays soft because of the releases by the receivers, and as a result, they're able to just kick it out, and they run the screen pass, and he's got blockers out in front of him with nobody to block. And when you play the New Orleans Saints, you better be prepared for a variety of screens, whether it's to tight ends or running backs or wide receivers. They run the screen game more than anybody in the league, and they're really good at doing it.
It was Corey Littleton who delivered a hit to the helmet of Josh Hill. And the officials saw the way Hill got up and was dazed for a moment, and the officials are the ones that sent Hill out of the game. So the helmet-to-helmet hit, Hill is out. And at this moment, the Saints are down to Dan Arnold and Garrett Griffin at tight end. Here's Kamara. Gets a couple. This February, the greatest event in motorsports is back. The Daytona 500 kicks off the 2019 NASCAR season February 17th on Fox. Saints defense picking up where it left off against Philadelphia last week when they held the Eagles scoreless over their final 8 drives after allowing 2 touchdowns on the first 2 Eagles possessions. 2nd and 8. Breeze protected, pass caught. Thomas and tackled immediately by Littleton, who's all over the place. A gain of 6. 3rd down and 2 coming up.
Well, and that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to be able to come up and make plays on receivers once they catch the ball. They've done that now a couple times on Michael Thomas. Corey Littleton making a nice play. Drew Brees under center on that, and when he is under center, just about 75% of the time the Saints run the football. So they run play action on that particular play, but Littleton's there to make a stop.
Quarter, 5-8 quarter. Ready. Ready. Set.
Breeze wide open. Thomas, and there's Peters trailing. Thomas with a first down at the Rams 18.
Oh, it's a really good route by Michael Thomas. You see how he pushes up and then creates the separation. I think he's anticipating that Corey Littleton is going to help him with that shallow crossing route. I'm not sure what exactly Littleton was looking at. He had eyes on Drew Brees, the quarterback, and was of no help there in the middle. But that was an easy 3rd down conversion.
3rd time into the Rams red zone for the Saints, who lead by 6. And just able to get it away. Pass is dropped by Ginn. Peters was ready to defend if Ginn came away with a catch. 2nd and 10.
Go back and look. Here's Corey Littleton. There's no back in the backfield. It's an empty set. So he's just, it's like he's spying on Drew Brees. You see, he's really of no effect. They're essentially playing with 10 guys. And Drew Brees, yeah, he'll get out and run occasionally, but he's not a threat really running with the football. And you see Marcus Peters is like, where are you? So Wade Phillips dials up really a perfect defense for it. Littleton just got out of position.
53. Light. Let's go. Ready. Ready. Set.
Breeze. Kamara. 3rd down upcoming as Kamara gets 6.
You know, I've talked about this before when we've had the New Orleans Saints, but Alvin Kamara runs this route better than any back I've seen. When he comes off the ball and he's able to just square up on the defender right there. You see the release, but once he squares up as a defender, you don't know if he's breaking to the outside or he's breaking to the inside. A lot of the times, most of the time, he has a two-way break. It's almost impossible to cover.
Taysom Hill is in there at quarterback. Breeze is on the sideline on 3rd and 4. They run it and don't get it. As Kamara gets to the 10, that's it, and we'll see what Sean Payton wants to do.
I don't like that call. You're talking about 3rd down, and you take Drew Brees off the field, as good as he is and as effective as they've been converting, but maybe it was with the idea that it was 4-down territory, and if they didn't make it, they were going to go for it, as it looks like they're going to here. The last time these teams met, Joe, was a 14-14 game, and the Rams ran a fake field goal, and it wound up really turning around the game. We'll see if the Rams can do that here.
Ready. 5-8. You ready? Return.
They drew him offside, it appears. Brockers came across. Who's it against?
Encroachment. Defense number 90. After this is a goal, results in a 1st down.
You know, Troy, some of this has got to be history. I mean, these Rams know that Sean Payton's not scared to go for it on 4th down, and he's running at 82%. Payton is over the last 3 years, including the postseason, 41 of 50. And they don't even have to snap it, and they get it by penalty.
That's a great job by Drew Brees, and not good discipline by that Rams defensive front and Brockers.
Looking for line. Pass is caught for the touchdown by Garrett Griffin. Just added to the roster. First catch of the year is a touchdown in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, Garrett Griffin, who was just brought up, you see they run the crossing action. The Rams run into each other. It frees up Griffin down on the goal line, and hello playoff football, Garrett Griffin.
It just goes to show you that if you're in an offense that's called by Sean Payton and you're active, the ball may very well be coming your way, whether your name is Michael Thomas or Garrett Griffin. They get a 1st down because of the penalty on Brockers. Take advantage and lead by 13. Welcome back to the NFC Championship, presented by Intuit TurboTax Live. A moment ago, Garrett Griffin became the 67th different player to catch a Drew Brees touchdown pass, and the 17th different New Orleans Saint to score a touchdown this year. They come at you from a lot of different directions. Let's go down to Erin Andrews.
And we saw Griffin in there because tight end Josh Hill has been taken back into the locker room. He's in concussion protocol. No word on him yet. You guys mentioned earlier Ben Watson. Good news on him. He did go through warm-ups today with the inactives. There were rumors this week he was suffering from appendicitis. They're hoping he can avoid surgery. And if the Saints win, of course, play in the Super Bowl.
Well, they lead by 13 with a minute and a half left in the 1st quarter. First carry by C.J. Anderson, who's been with both the Panthers and the Raiders prior to the last few games with the Rams. And a nice gain on 1st down. Prior to that, the Rams, Troy, had run 6 plays and gained 5 yards. And it's the first time all season without a 1st down over their first 2 drives.
Well, as we all know, the Rams prefer their 3 wide receiver personnel. That's pretty much exclusively all they run. But on that running play with C.J. Anderson, their best run of the game, they are in multiple tight ends. They're staying with it here. We'll see whether or not that's just a little different look and maybe gives them a little bit more power.
Let's see if that 5-yard pickup is negated by a false start, and it is.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Troy, you played in this place. And for Jared Goff, his first road playoff start, he's got a lot on his plate today.
And it's the first time so far we've seen the crowd really be a factor in the Rams' execution. In their Week 9 matchup, the Rams did not have a false start penalty or a delay of game penalty in that game. And they got Roger Saffold there to make it a 2nd and long.
Look at the left tackle Whitworth have to come down and get the call from center John Sullivan. And a timeout is taken by the Rams. Well, these fans are ready for playoff football, and they want to send their Saints to Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta. We'll be right back after this from Progressive. 2nd down and 10.
They're having a hard time even hearing the call in the huddle, Joe. You see Gerald Everett, their tight end, he's leaning in there, getting as close to Goff as he can to hear.
So they snap it fast. Pass is caught by Anderson. 3rd down coming up. A 3rd and 5 as C.J. Anderson picks up 5. And that would mean that if that's the last play of this quarter, it's been a 15-yard quarter for the Rams. Their fewest in the opening quarter of the game this season. And they don't have a 1st down. Overwhelmed here to start. That's the end of the quarter. Back after this from your local Fox station. Well, we start the 2nd quarter, and just watching the Rams even now in the huddle, they're having to go to each other, use hand signals as they're standing around. I mean, a matter of feet from each other. And moments ago, we saw Whitworth come down from left tackle and have to talk and yell to get the call.
Well, while we were at commercial break, this crowd was making the noise throughout. That's not typical. Normally when an offense is in the huddle, the crowd is not making noise, but they heard what Sean Payton wanted throughout the week, and they are delivering.
Quick throw to Woods. He needs some blocks. Doesn't get him. Anzalone finished him off. A gain of 1, and this has just been an avalanche that Sean McVay and Jared Goff are trying to fight against. An avalanche of noise and defenders, and this is a chaotic start for the Rams on offense as Hecker will punt for the 2nd time. Instead, he throws. Pass is caught for the 1st down. And now John Bones Fossil, the special teams coordinator, throws a wrinkle in as Johnny Hecker completes to Sam Shields for a 1st down. And that is the 12th completion for Johnny Hecker in the NFL.
Well, you've always got to be aware of this when you play the Rams. He can throw the ball as well as most quarterbacks, and what a good job by Sam Shields making somebody miss. But convention is out the window when it comes to these 2 head coaches, and we saw Sean Payton line up to go for it on 4th down. They got off sides, and now they come through for the Rams.
What a huge play as Higbee makes the catch. And on that last play, the throw by Hecker, a little bit of the Saints' own medicine. Remember, they went for it from their own 30, down 14-0 last week against Philadelphia. And now the Rams get a lift on a completion by Johnny Hecker.
Yeah, the Saints were down 14-0 when he went for it, and the Rams being down 13, a good momentum shift.
Goff will pick it up. So Johnny Hecker came into this game 11 of 19 for 156 yards and a touchdown. And that makes him now 12 of 20, but 11 of those completions have gone for 1st downs. You're right, he can throw it.
Yeah, he can throw it, and what a big call by Sean McVay. You don't make it there, and there's a good chance that you're putting the final nail in this game, with the Saints being able to come away with another touchdown.
More play action. Goff throws it away. Under pressure by Cam Jordan. The night before Super Bowl 53, the NFL's brightest stars will come together to salute the best players, plays, and moments from the 2018 season. Tune in to NFL Honors, hosted by Steve Harvey, on February 2nd at 9 Eastern on CBS.
Well, you talk about the Saints going for it last week. We'll see whether or not these Rams are able to do what the Saints did, and that's finish that drive off with a touchdown.
Goff pass is strong and complete for a first down to the other tight end, Gerald Everett. His first catch, a gain of 11.
You see Jared Goff, he's just doing everything he can in order to hear Sean McVay, and the play. And then once he gets it, assuming he understands it, can he communicate that to the other 10 guys in the huddle? I've been in those situations on the road in a hostile environment as a quarterback, and it's hard in the huddle. It's very unnerving for those offensive linemen, and then when you get to the line, these tackles.
Here's Anderson. You see Gurley on the sideline. We showed him a moment ago, and C.J. Anderson gains 8. Kind of a crazy road for Anderson as A.J. Klein was injured on that tackle. But really unused in Carolina, signed with the Raiders, didn't get a carry with them, and in 3 previous games, Anderson has been over 100 yards with 4 touchdowns. Klein gets attention. We take a break before a 2nd and 2. Welcome back to the NFC Championship, presented by Intuit TurboTax Live. Sean McVay, who will turn 33 years old in 4 days, rolled the dice, and it worked. A fake punt from his own 30, and now here sit the Rams down by 13. The 2nd and 2 inside the Saints' 30-yard line. Handoff is to Anderson, who has been the featured back on this possession. A gain of 5 and a first down.
And another 2 tight end set offensively. So Sean McVay seeing that they're able to get a little bit more movement, go with a little bigger personnel, and run the football.
Nice safe throw to Cooks, former first-round pick by the Saints, who spent 3 years in a New Orleans uniform. He gets 5.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks, I really like him. I like him back when he was with the New Orleans Saints. I was a little surprised when they dealt him to New England. Normally, when you're a guy who's been with 3 teams in 3 seasons, it probably means you're not producing. But this guy's a heck of a player, and he's been bounced around. But I think he's found a home for a while with the Los Angeles Rams.
Signed a 5-year, $80 million extension before the year. 2nd and 5. Quick snap. Anderson carries. Play made by this Saints defense. And a loss of 1. As Von Bell came down, the safety, and was the first to get his hands on C.J. Anderson. Defensive coordinator Dennis Allen loves the way his group has come together here down the stretch. 3rd and 6.
Well, they substituted C.J. Anderson for Todd Gurley here on 3rd down. Obviously, Gurley able to do a heck of a lot more as a receiver out of the backfield. He's going to split out to the top of the screen here. They go with the empty set. Some quarterbacks, you think maybe they might be a quarterback draw, but not with Goff.
3rd and 6. Gurley dropped it, but a flag. And it was thrown, as you could see, in the area where the coverage was. Anzalone was defending, at least on Gurley. And let's see who drew the penalty. Could be on the outside there with Cooks being defended by
There's
Eli
no foul
Apple.
for offensive pass interference. The defender initiated contact. Result of the play, 4th down.
So that just goes down, Troy, as a drop. And if Gurley makes this catch and turns upfield, with his power, he's looking at an easy first down.
Yeah, he picks up the first down, and Cooks was engaged from the start. At first, I thought they might call defensive pass interference, but I'm wondering if had Gurley have caught the ball, would the penalty have stuck? And my guess is they would have gone ahead and called the penalty on Brandon Cooks.
36-yard try by Zerline. Drilled it. Mike Pereira, what'd you see on that flag pickup?
I really like the crew getting together and discussing that. To me, defender did initiate contact. There's a pass in the air, but you're not going to call that. So we'll be back right after this.
Well, last time they met, it was Marcus Peters and Sean Payton. This time, Eli Apple gets in on the fun with Sean McVay while they were debating who that call was against a moment ago. Rams will kick it away. LA on the board, down by 10. See that bottom line, the 12-yard pass by Johnny Hecker on the fake punt at least led to points. And now with 9:45 left in this first half, and remember the Rams get the ball to start the second half. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Mike Pereira over on the side. Now it's up to, in my opinion, the Rams to figure out something defensively here against Drew Brees.
Yeah, overall, I think they've done a decent job. I do think that, even though they weren't able to finish that drive and come away with the touchdown, a really big call by Sean McVay. Nice execution with Hecker in that unit, and at least being able to come away with some points. That was huge in trying to settle down Jared Goff and the rest of this team.
Last time the Saints had the football, Garrett Griffin with a 5-yard touchdown catch. They start this drive with Kamara. That was well played, and of course it was Aaron Donald, the first guy through there, and then Brockers cleans up the tackle, a loss of 2. It is amazing how fast Aaron Donald gets through an offensive line.
Well, you see Larry Warford, he just simply whiffs, and Donald, he's so quick, but not only is he quick, he's got unbelievable strength and power, so he's able to bull rush people in the passing game right back into the quarterback. He is a nightmare, and like I talked about, Andrus Peat, who's got a broken right hand, when he lines up on him, what a challenge that is for Pete.
Second down and 12, Brees. There's Donald. Brees just flips it. There's Griffin, a star on the 20th of January. Gain 7. When we talked to Sean Payton about Garrett Griffin, who they just added, he said, well, one thing I'll say about him, he's our best blocking tight end. He's got the only touchdown of the game and now a 7-yard catch.
Yeah, and that's what he was doing there. And who was it that forces the pressure on Brees once again is Aaron Donald, and Ndamukong Suh, he comes up at the end, but Griffin was blocking, and he just recognizes his quarterback's in trouble. There was nowhere for Brees to throw the football. He gives him an outlet, turns what would have been no gain if he throws it away into a positive play.
It's the first time Brees has been hit in this game. Play clock is at 1. Kamara can't make the catch, and a big stop by this Rams defense.
That's good on a lot of fronts by this defense. First of all, they do get pressure on Brees. If you're going to play zone coverage in this league against these talented veteran quarterbacks, you better get home. Otherwise, they will pick you apart. And then with the zone behind it, they forced Brees into really a pretty risky throw. We're fortunate that ball was just incomplete.
Morstead booms it. And a fair catch hauled in by JoJo Natson. 49-yard punt. This was earlier. Aqib Talib trying to fire up his teammates on defense, and they just responded. Rams have it right back, down 10. Well, this is starting to become a story, not just the noise, but Todd Gurley, who averages 111 scrimmage yards a game in his career, 41 touchdowns the last 2 years. You see what he's done on the ground, and he's been targeted twice on third downs 2 drops, including on the interception by Demario Davis early in the first quarter. So it's more C.J. Anderson, as one of the game's best, most dynamic players, is watching on the sideline. And Anderson, who was added in December, mid-December, gets 3.
Yeah, well, it's obvious Sean McVay believes that right now, which is contrary to the way it's been this season, their best ability to run the football is with C.J. Anderson and with multiple tight ends. Their best runs, although there haven't been many, have been with the 2 tight end sets and 2 wide receivers, and that's what they're sticking with here on 2nd and long.
Second and 7, Woods with a strong catch, had to spin to grab it. Eli Apple knocked him to the ground after a gain of 6.
You see Jared Goff with that left hand down here, and he taps the center, John Sullivan, and it's a silent count. We all know about silent counts when the quarterback's in shotgun. They're running the silent count even when Goff is under center. And that's the indicator to Sullivan to let him know when he is ready for the ball.
Looked like that ball started to come loose. No look at it as Woods went to the ground, but here's a strong carry by C.J. Anderson. He is, you described him last week like a bowling ball. He's not tall, he's thick, he's carrying extra pounds, and he described himself during the week as the freshest running back in the NFL because he's barely been used.
Yeah, he only played about 70 snaps at Carolina, none in Oakland, and then came here, and the Rams going to the quick snap.
And the play action again, Goff just gets rid of it. So far, Troy, the Rams, this high-flying offense, their longest play from scrimmage is the 12-yard completion by Johnny Hecker to Sam Shields.
Yeah, a little different than the last time these 2 teams played when the Rams had 7 pass plays of over 20 yards. I was saying they get to the huddle quick. I mean, they get to the ball quickly, and that's one way they think they can combat the noise, not expecting the crowd to continue that quickly. But this crowd's been into it the entire first half.
Now the Saints call a timeout. Their second. And that gives everybody a break from the noise and Goff a chance to come over and talk to McVay, and we'll be right back after this from Pepsi. Jared Goff having to lean in to Sean McVay, who told us during the week when he gives a play into the helmet of Jared Goff, it comes in crisp and it comes in with confidence. He wants Goff to think every play is going to work, and a lot of the times this year it has. Not so far in this championship game. 2nd and 10. Here's Anderson. Got through the line of scrimmage. Some hands on him early, but a carry on the play up to the 40 and a gain of 6. Davis on the stop.
Oh, good design that time with pulling the right guard to kick out and just hit it right up the gut. So 2nd and 10, and they're able to pick up 6 yards running the football. That turns this into a very manageable then 3rd down, but they've had a hard time on this down in this game.
And Gurley still on the sideline on 3rd and 4. Blitz. Rams pick it up. Pass is broken up. No flag. P.J. Williams in coverage on Josh Reynolds. And it's 4th down.
C.J. Anderson, he does a good job of coming over and picking up Anzalone, and P.J. Williams just makes an excellent play. And even if that's a ball that Reynolds is able to catch, it was not enough for the 1st down. He was not able to get the necessary depth. It's just great 3rd down defense.
You know the Saints have got to be playing fake, and if Hecker punts it, which he does, they'll just take what they get. It's Tommy Lee Lewis with a fair catch out across his zone 15. And the Saints get it right back after a 43-yard punt. New Orleans up 10. Former Saint Steve Gleason made one of the most dramatic plays in team history September 25th, 2006. Saints' first game in this dome since Hurricane Katrina. Gleason blocked a Falcons punt, returned for a score, became a symbol of recovery in New Orleans. He is here, beloved for many reasons. He's gone from football player to ALS fighter and fundraiser. And he has been awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. That ceremony will take place at a time to be determined, but the first NFL player to receive that award for all the great work he's done for so many. He is tireless and an inspiration as Kamara carries it for 2. Ebukam on the stop. 2nd down and 8. This does not have the look or feel of that Week 9 80-point combined total at all.
Well, it sure doesn't. Both teams in that game on their first 2 possessions went down and scored touchdowns. A 45-35 game, and both defenses battling, and Rams need to make another stop here before the half.
Pass is caught again. Ebukam on his back. 3rd down coming up. 3rd and short after a completion of 6. Yeah, if the Rams can get a stop, get the ball back. So this is an important 3rd down here. They get the kickoff to start the second half, but there's a lot to discuss for Jared Goff and Sean McVay in this Rams offense at the break.
Yeah, it's just rare that this season you'd see the Rams, just out of sync the way that they are. But this noise has certainly been a factor. The the Saints defense has contributed to that as well.
Here's Kamara. Pass. What a strong catch for a first down as he's hit by Johnson and able to hang on with a gain of 5.
Well, John Johnson is in man coverage on Kamara, and you see how deep he is. It really would not have mattered what route he was running. In fact, he probably is fortunate he was running to the flat instead of something up the field. Then he's just got one guy to miss between him and the end zone. But there's just going to try to cover him man-to-man in that situation, 3rd and 3 to 4 yards. You better play tighter coverage than that.
Kamara 5 catches, 51 yards in this first half. Breeze in trouble, down he goes. That's Sue. Ndamukong Suh coming off his best game by a mile, which he turned in last Saturday against the Cowboys, gets the first sack.
Yeah, he's able to work against Andrus Peat. He gets right past him, and that's the first sack of the game. And like I talked about before in the previous matchup, neither quarterback was sacked. So they've been hard to come by, but Suh comes up with a big play.
Quick, Bart. Nudge it. Bart, Liz, ready. You ready?
Second down and 16. Breeze. Rockers in his face, and he's not alone. Suh again. Dante Fowler there as well. 3 guys combined to bring down Breeze. Back-to-back plays with a sack at a great time for LA.
Yeah, well, it sure was, because Breeze is trying to take a shot down the field to Michael Thomas on a double move. But LaMarcus Joyner, he doesn't bite. He's in great position. You see what Breeze essentially sees, that just nowhere to go with the football. He's got vision issues and people in his face, and they're able to get to him again. And that's the key. That's something they were not able to do before. And this defensive front, going back to last week against the Cowboys and now on consecutive plays, have made big-time plays.
You could see the play clock was at 0. The Rams get a stop anyway. It's at 2:01 on the clock, and before the snap, and Ndamukong Suh was standing up pointing at the play clock. Rams don't get the call, but they do get a stop to force a punt, and they are going to take us now to the 2-minute warning. A punt coming, we think, from the Saints on the other side. Welcome back to the NFC Championship, presented by Intuit TurboTax Live. This city has been buzzing, and these fans here in this stadium, when Drew Brees and the offense has the ball, they sit on their hands and they rest.
Yeah.
And then when Jared Goff and the Rams have it, they go insane.
Yeah, I don't know if they're resting. They might just be rehydrating. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do, you sly devil. Morstead punts it, hangs it up high. A flag flies. And Natson gets swallowed up by Hardy. But a flag early. And see on the outside, and Hardy, who ended up making the tackle, might have had a hand up and face mask.
Holding. Receiving team number 41. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. Los Angeles ball, first down.
So Marquis Christian held him, and Hardy still got downfield and made the tackle. No gain on the return by JoJo Natson.
I don't know about that call. I didn't like it.
Crowd's back. You see the fewest yards in any half since Sean McVay came aboard, 98. The points is the bigger story. Goff, good protection. Reynolds makes the catch and then runs into Demario Davis. 6 points is the fewest first half under Sean McVay in the 2 years. That's happened twice. They've only put up 3 so far, 2nd and 1.
Well, you mentioned that Sam Shields, he has the longest pass completion at 12 yards. The Saints have done a great job of just getting players on the ground once they catch the football.
Goff, Reynolds, first down. Good throw. And that one is a 13-yard completion, so it is now the longest play from scrimmage on offense for the Rams. 2 timeouts for LA. Davis comes on a blitz. Goff tries to step through and just able to get rid of it to avoid the sack. And it looked like it was the rookie Taylor Stallworth who got there, but Goff able to get the ball out of his hand.
Well, they brought Eli Apple on the blitz. This is a defense that does not blitz a lot, but they decide to bring Apple. Now, they had a good protection call. They're able to get Gurley, but Gurley does not make a real clean block on the play, and they're able to get to Goff without much time.
2nd and 10. Blitz again, pass is tipped off the right hand of Reynolds, and it falls to the turf. As that time P.J. Williams, the slot corner, was coming off the blitz.
Yeah, so they bring P.J. Williams off the other side that time, and even with that, you know, Goff has some time, enough time to deliver the football. It's just a little too far out in front of Josh Reynolds for him to be able to make a play.
The Rams are 1 for 6 on 3rd down. Good protection again, and the pass is caught for a big one. That is Cooks. And the former Saint gets 17, and now that's the longest play.
So 3 straight plays, Dennis Allen decides to bring pressure. They come off the left slot once again on Jared Goff. You're going to see him. Here he comes, and they block it up beautifully. This time, Gurley is able to locate him, makes a clean block, time in the pocket, and a really good route by Brandon Cooks at the top of this, creating some space between he and Eli Apple.
Rams use their 2nd timeout. The ball is sitting at the New Orleans 42. The Passage is one of the best shows this winter, and tomorrow on Fox, see why critics are calling it your next thriller obsession. It'll have you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss an all-new The Passage tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Fox, starring Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Well, here we are, 48 seconds, 1 timeout left for the Rams. They get the ball again. Reminder to start the 2nd half. Any kind of points here on this drive before the half would be huge.
Goff floats. Cooks, what a throw! And Brandon Cook sets up 1st and goal. And the Rams starting to get their legs underneath them. That one for 36.
That's not a matchup they want. P.J. Williams in coverage on Brandon Cooks.
They run it with Gurley. He spins for the touchdown. It's a dome silencer. And we'll make sure that Gurley is in before the knees were down. And he is. You talk about momentum before the end of the half. And that pass to Brandon Cooks is what set it up. Here it is.
Yeah, you look at the design. They motion Robert Woods down. And all of a sudden then that creates the matchup with P.J. Williams on Cooks.
Touchdown is good. Extra point now. And it's a 3-point game. Todd Gurley gets his 58th touchdown in 61 career games. And so not making really any impact in the game. He's able to pound it in for the first Rams touchdown of this NFC Championship game.
How about that drive? You hold them down, and then you get the ball, and the Rams are able to make some big plays. And let's take another look. Here's the play here when they're able to release those guys, and P.J. Williams then gets caught in a compromised position to where he's having to cover the outside receiver. Typically, he's the slot defender. He's covering the middle of the field, and with Cook's speed, I mean, that guy can just flat out run. He's a 4-3 guy, and it just was really no matchup. That was the big play, but also the great protection on 3rd and 10 and picking up the blitz, and Brandon Cooks converting to keep that drive going.
Each side with 1 timeout remaining. Zerline will pound it into the back of the end zone, and Kamara will bring it out. Why not? He takes it to the 20. That's it. Kadarrell Hodge with the tackle, a return of 27 yards. Coming up, the Visa halftime. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, Jimmy, and Tony will be in the makeshift studio, which is collapsed. For the moment, they'll pop that thing up and go to work, and they'll have an AFC Championship game preview. That game coming up after this one in Kansas City. You can see the tape, and those ear holes are filled up for Jared Goff as this first half started to progress.
Yeah, well, both these defenses really did a nice job. Again, referencing the last time they met, both offenses went for over 480 yards in that game, and here in the first half, neither offense able to even get to 200 yards.
The play of the first half is presented by DirecTV. More for your thing. That's our thing. And easily the get up off the deck and have some life play was the completion by Jared Goff to Brandon Cooks. Gurley on the next play took it in, and this is just a 3-point game at the half. Should be an exciting second half coming up from New Orleans. Visa halftime is coming up.
Wide-eyed one, I can't help myself. No, no. The wide-eyed one, I can't help myself. No, no. The wide-eyed one, I can't help myself.
That was today's Game Flow, brought to you by Progressive. Beautiful, crisp day outside. Inside, it's loud. And the first 13 points belong to the Saints. The next 10 points to the visiting LA Rams. As you look at the first half stats, no penalties yet on New Orleans. 4 against the Rams. Time of possession about even. And it's a 3-point game. Gurley has a touchdown. The Rams scored inside a minute left in the first half, but not much more for Todd Gurley. Matson takes the knee, and we take you to Chris Myers.
Well, Sean McVay said his offense found the rhythm, the right rhythm at just the right time, and asked about the fake punt. He said, yeah, we have a few more of those. If we need to use them, we will. Todd Gurley, issue more about rust than it is help. McVay said it's the loudest he's ever heard it. They can't hear each other in the huddle. He can turn up the volume to send the plays to Goff, but he can't turn down this crowd noise.
The fake punt, which was run with the okay of Sean McVay from the Rams 30 when they were down 13-0. They didn't get a touchdown, but they did get their first points of the half. (13-10) now after that last drive by the Rams, and that is Alex Okafor bringing down Robert Woods on the jet sweep. A loss of 4. Aaron, what did you learn?
Well, I talked to Sean Payton about the Los Angeles Rams kind of grabbing the momentum back, and he said in playoff games, I don't worry about that. It's all about the ups and the downs. He said the biggest thing for our defense, obviously, is to create a stop, get the ball to our offense, and let's score here. He was more concerned about his running game. He thought that would be a huge key in the second half for his offense. He said we've only had 1 to 2 good runs. We need a lot more.
So far, the Rams have run it for 36 as Woods can't make the catch. It's incomplete. It was a forward pass. 3rd and 14 coming up. Meanwhile, the Saints have only run the ball for 13 yards. So really nothing on the ground to speak of on either side after a half.
I think both these teams came into this game fully expecting to have run the ball better than they did in that first half. I know the Rams did coming off a big rushing day last week against the Dallas Cowboys, and as good as the Saints have been against the run, defending the run, felt that they had some things that could create some movement, but the Saints have continued to be tough.
On 3rd down, good protection. Goff's arm was hit as he let it go, and incomplete for Woods. It's 4th down.
Well, we talked about Sheldon Rankins not being able to go, and he's out for now for the rest of the year, however long that might be, but Onyemata, he's able to get to Goff. He gets his hand on him, and that's the area where they thought they would miss Rankins the most. Yes, he's had a great year, but they felt they could overcome his absence in the run game, but the inside pressure. But Onyemata, he's had a heck of a season, too. He's always been making plays when we've watched him.
Line drive, ugly punt. Lewis stays away. And one of the game's best, not just now, but really statistically ever. Johnny Hecker hits a knuckler that rolls forward for a total of 50. We look at the fans, Saints fans, loud. Rams fans, a little more to cheer about of late. 13-10. Welcome back to the NFC Championship presented by Intuit TurboTax Live. This is the fake Sean Payton, the imposter. He's got the call sheet. He's got a whistle. By the way, we're told a lot of fans are blowing whistles down there, which could not just add to the noise, but be a bit confusing. And that's all going on when the Rams have the football. Right now, it's the Saints with the ball, leading by 3. They run it with Ingram. And one of their better runs. Ebukam on the stop, a gain of 6. Look at the last 3 possessions. First 13 points for the Saints, and then after that, punt, half.
Yeah, this Rams defense, they've played well. They, give up 13 points, and 3 of those, of course, after the interception by Jared Goff. Both these defenses got to be pretty pleased with overall what they've done.
Kamara out of the backfield. Littleton on him. Out of bounds with a first down. It's not just Kamara and his ability. It's the precision by Drew Brees to literally hit him in stride like he's handing it to him for a first down.
Yeah, it's just really not even fair for Corey Littleton to try to cover him out of the backfield. Like I talked about earlier, his ability, his speed, and the way in which he sets a defender up is really good, and that's why he has 2 or 3 steps every time.
Quick setup, quick throw. Kamara, that time he had to turn around to make the catch, but a nice gain on first down of 9. That time Barron was out there. Tune in next Sunday at 3 Eastern to watch the NFL's best battle for AFC and NFC pride as traditional rivals join forces at the 2019 Pro Bowl presented by Verizon. On to the Rams side of the 50 with the ball just inside the LA 49. Saints ran the ball. As you look at the play selection, over 46% of the time during the regular season, fourth most in the league, and they run it here for a first down with Kamara. Gain of 7.
They're able to block the edge, and Drew Brees does not spend a lot of time under center. They motion across the field, and then they get the ball to Kamara, and with lead blockers and then pulled linemen out in front. It's just it's really good job. You're Aqib Talib. You're trying to, just turn it back in and preserve yourself along the way with an offensive lineman barreling down on you.
It was Ramczyk out there, second team All-Pro. Here's Ingram busting free to the 26. And a carry of 16 yards, the longest run of the game for the Saints.
You see Larry Warford and the job that he's able to do. He gets the block on Littleton. You see the lane then that's created with Max Unger as well. There's some good runs now. They're hitting it on the edges, and then all of a sudden they hit you in the gut. And the Rams right now don't know which way they're coming at them.
Hold up. Right behind you.
This drive has been 45 yards, all picked up by Kamara and Ingram. Here's Kamara as the 1-2 punch is going to work against the Rams defense. Littleton again. And they're going to mark Kamara out of bounds with an 8-yard gain. And this duo since 2017 is #1 in the league. Rush yards, rushing touchdowns, receptions, total touchdowns. They are hard to stop.
Yeah, they are hard to stop, and Kamara is making his presence felt in the passing game, which he did all season long. He had over 80 receptions during the regular season, and he's had 9 of the 17 completions today from Drew Brees.
Here's the fullback lying for a first down. Brockers trying to punch it out to no avail. Zach Line carried 9 times all year. He had 2 touchdown catches and picks up a first down here.
Yeah, a lot like what the Saints were able to do when they had success early in this game. Nothing really down the field in terms of what they're doing throwing the ball. They're very methodical. They're hitting the underneath throws, getting the ball to Kamara, and then running the football very efficiently here on this possession.
Little shoulder fake. Kamara is found by Brees. He got 9. Littleton forced him out, and Corey Littleton comes away from that play shaking his head. He's seen enough of number 41.
Well, this time he's anticipating Kamara to break out, because that's what he's been doing. He has outside leverage, and like I said earlier, he's got 2-way breaks on a lot of these routes. So he sees leverage, he works against it, and man coverage, like I said, that everyone talked about Marcus Peters last time against Michael Thomas in man coverage. I don't care who you talk about. They do not match up well against the Saints in man.
Here is Ingram setting up first and goal. We said this earlier in the year. These offensive players, they go to bed at night knowing that their head coach, Sean Payton, is up late at night trying to devise different ways to get them the football. He's so creative. The way he's used Taysom Hill, the way he has used undrafted wide receivers, undrafted tight ends, converted wide receivers like Dan Arnold. His creativity shows up in a game like this. First and goal. 10th play of the drive. Thomas had to wait, and the pass is incomplete. Nickel Roby-Coleman ends up with his helmet ripped off, as that was an underthrow.
Boy, Nickel Roby-Coleman, I'm not really sure what his technique was or what he was trying to do, but Thomas just basically kind of threw him away. And if that ball was where it should be, and that is at the back pylon, that's an easy touchdown. You can see the look on Michael Thomas's face. It's so rare for Drew Brees to miss something like that down here.
Now Taysom Hill at quarterback. Brees is split out. And here's that creativity. 2nd and goal.
He's got to get set.
Just got it away. Hill keeps, throws. Kamara can't make the catch, and it wasn't there anyway, as Littleton was up to the task.
You know, the last time Sean Payton put Taysom Hill down here, it was 3rd down, and then they were able to draw the Rams off sides. This, of course, is 2nd down. I like the way they've utilized Taysom Hill throughout the season. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a very versatile guy, and Sean's gotten the most out of him. But I just, in this game down here in this situation, how important this is to come away with a touchdown, I just would not take the ball out of Drew Brees' hands.
393.
So now 3rd down and goal.
Ready for set.
Hill plows it in for the touchdown. He did not have a touchdown catch during the regular season, and now he's on the long list from Drew Brees.
Well, they motion him across, and then, you know, he has to get set, and good blocking out front. Sean Payton was going to get Taysom Hill a touchdown. It was either going to be a touchdown pass or it was going to be a touchdown reception. But by golly, he was going to get one.
That's the longest drive of the game for the Saints. And it ends in 7 points. And now Taysom Hill is the 68th different receiver to catch a touchdown from the future Hall of Famer, Drew Brees. 10-point game in New Orleans. Welcome back to the NFC Championship presented by Intuit TurboTax Live. The opening drive of the first half, an 11-play effort. Opening drive of the second half, a 12-play effort after the defense made a stop. The LA Rams in the lead, back to 10. Out to the 25. So we'll welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck along with the Hall of Famer. He won 3 Super Bowls, kids. That's what he did. Troy Aikman back in the day in the 90s with the Dallas Cowboys. 15 different receivers Drew Brees has found for a touchdown this year. That's an NFL record. They just come at you from so many ways.
Yeah, Drew and Sean Payton, they've been kind of doing that throughout his entire career, and the ability to take advantage of all the players that he has around him. And now we look at this possession by the Rams, and even though they came back from 21 points the last time they played each other, this game just doesn't have that kind of feel. They're down 10, and to me, this is a huge possession right now, even though it's early in the half for the Rams.
I agree. Out to the sideline. Pass is caught by Woods. And I want to get back into what you touched on earlier in the game. Sean Payton said through the media to the crowd, to the fans, make noise when they get in the huddle. Sean McVay said noise not going to be a problem because fans aren't able to sustain that kind of noise. But it's been a problem, and the fans listened to Sean Payton.
They sure did. They've got great fans here in New Orleans. This Who Dat Nation is, they're giving them a decisive home field advantage here this afternoon.
2nd down and 6. Here's Anderson. 3rd and short coming up is Demario Davis. Sticks his shoulder pads in there to make a stop, a gain of 4.
And Joe, the only way you quiet the crowd down is by moving the football and scoring points and you know, taking the lead. But first things first, they got to make this a one-possession game.
Blitz. Rams pick it up. Pass is caught for a first down by Cooks. Good play. Important first down, a gain of 4.
Yeah, that's a start. You know, being able to pick up that 3rd down, and C.J. Anderson has done some nice things in pass protection. They're not able to run the check with knees at the line of scrimmage between run-pass. That's why C.J. Anderson has been in the game as much as he has been. The Rams like to be able to check between the two. They can't. They're trying to check right now. We'll see how well they're able to execute it, but trying to communicate that is hard.
Play action, it's what the Rams do best. The pass is a beauty to the sideline, caught by Brandon Cooks.
Best throw he's made all day. That's money right there. That's what we've seen of Jared Goff throughout this season. When he gets into a rhythm, you see him hurrying up. They had the success going to the hurry up at the end of the half and just trying to spend as little amount of time as possible at the line of scrimmage. That helps this offensive line.
Anderson got a yard and a half. P.J. Williams came in to make the stop. Here is the completion to Cooks.
It's just a great job against a really good corner, Marshawn Lattimore. You see how he just turns him around. And, you know, there's Jared Goff just trying to communicate. So even if they're able to get the communication, just the mechanics and how that is operated is obviously much different than really any other game this year.
Looked like one of the defenders for the Saints came across early. A flag is down. Everett with the catch, tackled by Davis, and it is against New Orleans. Out at right end, creeping in. Here's the call.
Offside. Defense number 24. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
They brought Von Bell, and they were in man coverage, and we saw at the end of the first half, Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator, he brought pressure then, and when they block it up, they're susceptible because I don't think, as good as Marshawn Lattimore is, and then of course Eli Apple, with time, I don't think either of those guys can cover these two receivers.
It's the first penalty against the Saints in the game. Play action again. Cooks wide open. Brandon Cooks with some extra yards after the catch and a big play. Out in front was Tyler Higbee blocking, and a completion and then a run for 25.
Well, they run Robert Woods up the field. That gets the corner out of there, and then you see that's why there's just no deep third coverage once Cooks is able to come across and catch that shallow flat route.
One of the Saints is injured at the end of the play. Looks to be Von Bell. They check on him. We'll take a break. First down, LA. Von Bell has really taken over at strong safety for the Saints, and at the end of that play, you see that left elbow get hyperextended. They're looking at him on the sideline. Kirk Coleman checks in for New Orleans. Jared Goff 4 for 4 on this drive at the perfect time for the Rams, down 10. Here's Reynolds. Reynolds down near the goal line and short, but first and goal. Movement all over the place, and now the Rams will hurry it up. Let's make sure he didn't get in. Looked to be a good call, and the Rams right back to it. Anderson in the backfield, and Goff in this hurry-up effort doesn't secure the snap.
Yeah, and that's, you get so rushed, and then you don't even secure the snap. But let's take another look at it. Great execution. Okafor made a play on this earlier in the game. He's not able to here. It did appear that he was just a bit short. Yeah, he's short of the goal line, but now they lose 2-3 yards after that blocked snap.
A 16-yard carry by Reynolds, the Rams' longest run of the game. Second and goal. Anderson gets it, driving to the 1, where it will be third and goal, and you just have to feel that with the way these two coaches manage games, right now Sean McVay is thinking he's got 2 downs to get the ball into the end zone.
I agree with you. I think that barring a loss, of yardage here on 3rd down. I think he's thinking this is 4-down territory, and he's going for it.
He'd like to not have to make that decision. 3rd down and goal. Quick snap, play action, wide open, touchdown. That's Higbee. And the tight end left alone. And another crowd quieter from the Rams. A 1-yard completion to Tyler Higbee. And his 3rd touchdown overall on the season.
Well, Alex Anzalone, he's the one in man coverage on Higbee. And you're going to see he's got his eyes in the backfield. And then by the time he realizes that Goff has it off play action, he just can't get out there to cover him. So a good call there by Sean McVay. It's so hard on a defense trying to cover that down there when you have to sell out to stop the run. Play action's a killer.
Zerline knocks it through. A 3-point game again. Higbee says, please be quiet. Got a raging headache. 3-point game in New Orleans. Sean McVay in this offense, which for the most part has not been aided by the incredible skill of Todd Gurley for the majority of the game. He does have a touchdown, but it's been more C.J. Anderson in this championship effort. Rams have closed this to a 3-point game. Where were you at the age of 32? Well, if your name is Wade Phillips, you were the defensive line coach for your pop in Houston. If you're Sean Payton, quarterbacks coach at Illinois. If you're Mike Pereira down to my right, giving a safe call for some reason. He was a referee in the Big West Conference.
That explains a lot.
Former quarterbacks coach at Illinois, who played quarterback at Eastern Illinois, is now sending the plays into Drew Brees, the 12-time Pro Bowl quarterback and Super Bowl 44 MVP from the 25, leading by 3 to the sideline, wide open, Traquan Smith. Smith, the rookie, had a huge game against Philly week 11. 10 catches, 157 yards, and a touchdown. He gets 10 here, and this is his first catch of the game.
Yeah, he had the big game, like you said, and then, he didn't make much of an impact after that. He got more playing time once Ted Ginn was injured. Right now, though, the guy that they've had a hard time incorporating is Michael Thomas, considering his game the last time they played, as well as what he was able to do against Philadelphia last week. But just 3 receptions.
Fake it to Kamara. That ball came out funny, but it's still completed to Thomas. And he gets 9.5 with under 2.5 to go in the 3rd quarter.
I couldn't tell if Dante Fowler, he was the one pressuring from the right. Looked like he sure did based on the way the ball came out. He got his hand on it, and usually that's enough for an incompletion, but it's still on target, and Thomas makes a play.
4 catches in this one for Thomas, 36 yards. After the record-setting day against the Eagles last week, 12 for 171. Here's Ingram with a first down to midfield. Game of 6. Saturday, it's a huge welterweight title fight as undefeated Keith Thurman defends his belt against Josecito Lopez. Live from Barclays Center, Saturday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
They just ran Taysom Hill back out onto the field.
How about that? The total yards dead even with under 1.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter in this championship game. Hill at quarterback. Ball's out. Kamara got right back on it. A loss of 1.
Yeah, he's Kamara, it's not a great pocket. He's trying to get the ball, but those are some of the things that, it's not as consistent. Obviously, they practice these things, but he's taken a heck of a lot more handoffs from Drew Brees than he has Taysom Hill, and that could have been costly. That's an area where this Rams defense was good throughout the regular season. They've not been able to create a takeaway in this game. Had a chance there.
Brees Breeze able to complete it to Ingram, and then he gets hit hard by Mark Barron. Aaron Donald on that previous play got his hand in there on that exchange. But Kamara got right back on it.
Yeah, I mean, just, that could have been devastating, giving the ball back to the Rams after their last drive at midfield. But if nothing else, it's created now a 3rd and 7 as opposed to something maybe a little bit shorter, even possibly a first down with that last completion.
That's it for 3 quarters in this NFC Championship game. Top 2 seeds going at it. Back after this from your local Fox station. Back to the NFC Championship presented by Intuit TurboTax live at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Aerial coverage is brought to you by State Farm. It's the 20th of January 2019. The winner of this game takes on the winner of the game upcoming on CBS between the Patriots and the home team, Kansas City Chiefs.
It's a big down right now by this Rams defense. They convert. There's a good chance the Saints are going to come away with more points on this possession. Looks like they're going to try to bring some pressure. Right here, expect him.
That's Fowler off the edge. Breeze throws, a lot of contact, no flag. Nickel Roby-Coleman was there defending, and it was Ted Ginn, the target. And let's look at this again.
It definitely looked to me like a hold. It didn't look like he was allowing him to come out of the break. He wanted to try to work back towards the boundary.
Roby-Coleman's upset he didn't get the pick. I think he might feel lucky looking at that. He didn't get a flag. Talk to Mike Pereira after the punt. Morstead, end over end. Matson. What'd you think, Mike Pereira, on that 3rd down throw?
Well, I think it's interference. I think the ball is out of his hands. He breaks to the outside, but you can see he makes contact clearly before the ball arrives. It is contact that keeps him from making the catch. I really do believe that is pass interference.
But no flag.
Well, the officials, they have let him play, really, for the most part throughout this game. But boy, that was, I agree with Mike. It sure looked like a hold. Ball was in the air, and it would have been a new set of downs for the New Orleans Saints.
Todd Gurley was not on the field the last possession for the Rams. A 10-play touchdown drive, and C.J. Anderson starts this drive by carrying up the middle to the 15-yard line. Now all we can do is obviously ask. The word from the Rams is there is nothing physically wrong with Todd Gurley. But this is one of the best players in the league who's just watching with the rest of them.
Well, he continues to move and kind of stretch. He doesn't look frustrated. He doesn't look upset that he's not being utilized. It's the biggest game of his career, and he's not contributing yet. He seems to be okay with it. Something is up. I don't think it's just simply him not getting to play. I would have to believe it's health related.
2nd down and 7. Goff keeps. Under pressure. Jordan got it. And the man who is number 4 on the franchise all-time sack list, a loss of 8.
Yeah, he's able to get home. He gets past Tyler Higbee, and they're trying to block him up with 2 guys, and yet they don't make a play. Now, you look at that and you say, is that a horse collar? No, it's not. It can't be anyway because of the quarterback being in the pocket. But sets up now. Jared Goff's got to be real careful here on 3rd and 15.
So careful they just hand it off. And C.J. Anderson gets back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. And this Saints defense steps up again. Marcus Davenport, the rookie, got through, a loss of 1.
Oh, what a great job by this Saints defense. Getting them backed up. Cam Jordan makes a big play there on the sack and gets them in long down yardage, and now forcing a punt. And the Saints should get great field position, and it's going to be putting some stress once again on the Rams defensively to hold them down.
4th time for a Rams drive where they did not come away with a first down, and they're backed up.
They give Hecker a little bit more room to operate if this is on the Saints.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 91. 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
Doesn't really end up costing much. You do get that extra 5 yards of breathing room for Hecker, but they're just trying to make a play here, get through, get a block. That was Trey Hendrickson.
They were right at, the punter likes to be about 16 yards deep. He was right at about that with the ball on the 6.
Hecker hangs it high. Tommy Lee Lewis with a fair catch inside the 40. The flag is down back near the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul. Chop block. Kicking in number 24. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. New Orleans ball. First down.
Well, that'll move the ball inside Ram territory. It was against Countess in a 3-point game. Three-point game. Just under 12 and a half to go. Todd Gurley trying to stay warm on the sideline. Right now it's the Saints starting for the second time in Rams territory. This drive at the LA 46. The other time was after the Demario Davis interception early that they turned into 3 points.
2-6. Ready. Ready,
Kamara, Ingram, and Hill all in there. And Ingram behind a block from Taysom Hill with a flag on the play ends up getting 4.
Holding. Offense number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Against the Pro Bowl left tackle, Teron Armstead, who's battled his way back from a pec injury suffered in week 10 at Cincinnati.
It was Armstead trying to block Michael Brockers, it looked like, and that's a good call, and it's a big penalty. You know, they'd already given up. The Rams had 15 yards with the penalty there on the punt on them, and now they back up the Saints, which certainly helps in trying to make a stop and keep this a 3-point game.
Hey, alert, 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 alert. Ready. Ready. Set.
Breeze incomplete. Tight end Dan Arnold. Now 2nd and 20.
Well, now they've seen about enough of Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield. You see him here. Well, here's Ndamukong Suh, and he's going to come up. He's going to jam on Kamara, and they're going to take him out of the game. You remember back when the Patriots played the Rams in that Super Bowl and Marshall Faulk, they did a lot of those types of things. They did it throughout the game, though. But now you got Wade Phillips saying, all right, we've seen about enough of Alvin Kamara. He's got 10 receptions for 88 yards, and we'll come up with some different schemes to keep him from hurting them.
Here is a handoff to Kamara. And he's right into the waiting arms of Ndamukong Suh. Rams are trying to get to their 4th Super Bowl in franchise history. They lost in '79. They won after the '99 season. Lost in the Super Bowl you're talking about to the Patriots after the '01 season as heavy favorites, and that was the start of the Bill and Tom show. And Tom Brady and Bill Belichick will go to work later today in Kansas City.
So they got 7 guys deep at about 10 yards off the ball. The Rams do, just trying to keep everything in front of them, come up and rally to the football.
3rd and 17, and the pass nearly picked. Ginn was the target, and Nickel Roby-Coleman almost had it right in his gut. It's 4th down.
It looked like Breeze had a chance. You know, if he leads Ted Ginn, I didn't see exactly what was out in front of Ted Ginn. This ball clearly behind Ginn. I don't know if Breeze just couldn't see maybe what was out in front and not knowing he's trying to pull him up in the hole. But if he leads them, they would have converted that 3rd down.
Morstead hits it. That is a big stop by the Rams on defense. Good punt by Morstead. That drive started at the LA 46 and ended up going backward. 45-yard punt. 3rd-year pro Jared Goff back to the field, down 3. Back to the NFC Championship, presented by Intuit TurboTax Live. They've been making noise throughout the break. Todd Gurley is off the bike, into the huddle, and ready to go. He's played only 3 snaps this half. A guy who scored 21 total touchdowns for the year to lead the league. Worst starting field position for the Rams, down 3. Gurley gets it. Okafor makes the stop. Back to that long 3rd down attempt.
Yeah, here's Corey Littleton in the middle, and you've got Ted Ginn who's running the in route, and I think it's Littleton that takes Breeze off the throw, but you're going to see that he clearly is running out of there, so all this room out in front. And had Breeze had led him, they convert, and then they obviously come away with some points if they're able to hit a field goal or get a touchdown, but a big misfire for an opportunity on Breeze.
Here's Woods. Lattimore strong. He can cover, he can tackle, and that turns into a gain of 1. This is the 4th time the Rams have started a drive inside their own 20. 3rd and 3.
Well, how big was that defensive stop by the Rams, not giving up any points, giving the Saints the ball on their own side of the 50.
Rams are 3 for 10 on 3rd down.
Goff running all the way outside to relay the play.
And there were whistles. The pass is incomplete. The question is, did the play count? And there looks to be some confusion down on the field right now, or was there a timeout called? Here's the call.
Prior to the snap, first charge timeout.
They granted the Rams a timeout prior to the snap. That's why half the players stopped playing, and there's him going out to talk to Gerald Everett prior to the play. Talking about Goff having to deliver the message verbally. Mike, did you see the timeout?
You know, that's one of the things that's tough about the rule that we put in. We thought it was a good rule that the players didn't have to do it, but these last-second call timeouts, you never really see them. But in reality, anything that's close to the timeout versus the play clock, they're going to go with the timeout and void the foul.
Well, in a smart timeout, you see Goff, he's running out to talk to Gerald Everett. I've never seen that in dealing with crowd noise, and McVay didn't like what he was seeing. He got the timeout called.
Goff out to his right. Throws, and the pass is caught for a 1st down and more. That's Everett. Gerald Everett takes it into Saints territory. Knocked down at the New Orleans 45, and a conversion on 3rd and 3, 39 yards.
It was good coverage for most of this play on Gerald Everett. They jam him up at the line of scrimmage, but it's because Goff being able to scramble and get outside the pocket. You see right there, that's pretty good coverage. But just then, scramble drill comes into effect. He frees himself up, and this is a guy who's got a lot of athletic ability. He can run for a big man, and he shows it off after the catch.
39-yard play, the longest for either team in the game, and to this point, the biggest. Anderson gets it. You see Von Bell back in there after that injury. Last time the Rams had it, a gain of 4. See the difference, week 9 during the regular season in yards, points, the punts, the 1st downs. But all that matters is it's a 3-point affair, and the winner goes to the Super Bowl. 2nd and 6. Play action, Goff throws, pass to Reynolds. Spinning catch out of bounds inside the 10. And he ended up on linebacker Demario Davis, a completion of 33.
He starts inside, and they run the wheel route. So he's able to get up that boundary against a guy that can't run like he can, and that's a good design. We've seen a couple of times some mismatches that have favored the Rams receivers, and they've been able to capitalize.
The Rams, the number 18 red zone team during the regular season. First and goal. Anderson carries. Takes it down inside the 5. Tyler Davison wrapped his big arms around C.J. Anderson, a gain of 2.
It's a heck of a drive by this Los Angeles Rams team. First of all, the defense makes a big stop. Considering where the Saints got the ball in their previous possession, this drive started on the 9-yard line, and here they are on the 5-yard line knocking on the door.
Fake it to Anderson. Out to the left. Goff gonna dive. Looked like it was there for a moment for him to run in, and a slight hesitation might have cost him a touchdown.
Yeah, I saw the same thing, Joe. It was a little casual. You know, I don't think that running the ball was what he wanted to do. There's a face mask. But it looked like once he got outside the pocket here, he could have just really gone after it.
Now 3rd and goal. Biggest play of the day.
I'm not so sure Sean McVay's not in 4-down territory here, but he was gutsy last week. It would be a lot of guts again this week.
Quick snap. C.J. Anderson. He is going to be marked short of the touchdown. Inside the 1. And here's the decision upcoming by Sean McVay.
It looked like Havenstein, that last push, might have gotten him over the line right there, but he was down.
Well, the field goal unit comes on for McVay. But you never know with this team. However, if they're going to try and punch it in on 4th and goal, you'd think they just leave their offense out there.
Yeah, he's taking the 3 points here. He's going to try to tie this thing up with Zuerlein.
19-yard try. Just became a 24-yard try for delay of game.
Delay game. Offense. Number 4.
Zuerlein on the year in this range. 11 for 11. It's shorter than an extra point. And it's a 24-yard attempt to tie it with 5:16 left. Got it. Young Jared Goff got his team in position, and this NFC Championship game is tied. America's loving the masked singer. Our own Terry Bradshaw was revealed last week. Find out who gets unmasked next this Wednesday, right here on Fox. You surprised that Sean McVay and the way they played all year and the aggressive nature of the young head coach and this young Rams team, they didn't go for the go-ahead points there on 4th down?
You know, yeah, a little bit, just because of what he's done throughout the season, and especially last week, in saying, you know, we're going to be aggressive, but, you know, I also understand it. You get a chance to tie it up, and those are hard decisions to make, and that's why they pay those guys the big bucks to make them.
Here is Kamara taking it out of the end zone. Gets a couple of blocks and a decent return out near the 30. Moment ago, over on the Rams sideline, safety John Johnson let his teammates know his thoughts.
Leave it all out there! Let's go! Leave it out here! Leave it all out there! Let's go! Everything you got, leave it in New Orleans! Leave it right here!
He had an audience, and the audience loved it. Just to finish on McVay, he went for it last week on 4th and goal from the 1 with his team up by 8 in the 4th quarter, and in essence ended the ball game. You could take the easy field goal, make it a 2-possession game, and instead he made it a 15-point affair.
I will say it's a lot harder down there to get everybody coming off the ball at the same time on the road in a place like this. It's much harder to execute that play.
So now Breeze starts with a completion to Austin Carr. It was picked off waivers last year from the Patriots. The Saints scored on their first 3 drives, 1 score over their last 6 possessions. It's 2nd and 5.
Mike 2-6. Ready. You ready? Set.
On 2nd down, pass caught by Ingram. Good strong tackle by John Johnson, who provided that soundbite a moment ago, and now 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, really good. They just continue to try to keep everything in front of them and then come up and make the tackle. And really good job by John Johnson. Now a 3rd and short.
Taysom Hill is in the huddle. Alvin Kamara comes back in.
Well, that's the guy they'll be focused on, Alvin Kamara. He's the one who's been hurting them.
Ready. You ready? Set.
Breeze with all day flips it to Kamara. 1st down and stays in bounds. Smart play. First Kamara was blocking, and then he leaked out for an 8-yard completion.
Yeah, and Dante Fowler, he bangs on him. He goes to the ground, and we've seen it earlier in this game with Dan Arnold, the tight end, when he was in blocking, and then they just realized that the quarterback is in trouble and they need to give him a place to go with the football, and they leak out, and Breeze finds him. The Rams did everything right down the field in coverage. They just lost sight of Kamara once he went to the ground.
And couldn't get the Breeze. Here is Ingram, and there is Aaron Donald making a play. A loss of 2 for the reigning Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he just splits those 2 guys, hits that gap, and just no chance for Mark Ingram to go anywhere.
Aaron Donald, since he came into the league, is the Rams' 2nd first-round pick in 2014, leads the league in tackles for a loss. That one lost 2. 2nd and 12.
Ready. You ready? Set.
Breeze airs it out. Ginn downfield. He's got it. 1st down inside the 15. At the 2-minute warning. Big yards to 10 Ginn, and the Saints sitting pretty with 1:58 to go. On 2nd and 12, Troy, the biggest completion of the game, 43 to Ginn.
Well, LaMarcus Joyner, the safety, he sees this all the way, and he's in a great position. But you see, he goes up, he doesn't get his hands up over his head. If he goes up with his hands above his head, he can knock the ball down. Instead, he acts like he's trying to just catch it in his chest, as though he's the only guy trying to make a play on the ball. And so a huge play. That ball just hung up in the air for a while on Drew Brees. Here's a good look at it. And I mean, Joyner sees it the entire way. This is crazy. I thought that ball was going to be intercepted, certainly incomplete. But now, what is Sean Payton going to do? They've got 2 timeouts, the Rams do. If they stop them, they can get the ball back with about a minute left in the game. They've got to make a stop.
Quick throw, and that will help the Rams' cause. That's incomplete to Michael Thomas, and
surprise.
That's a big surprise.
Big surprise. I thought they might be aggressive, but not on first down, Joe. I really thought on first down Sean Payton would force them to burn the timeout, then decide, okay, you know, how are we going to play this? But now, it's a huge advantage now for the Rams. in preserving time.
It was a high percentage throw, but it was low and incomplete. That 43-yarder by Ginn, his longest reception of the season. Now 2nd and 10. Play clock is down to 1, so Breeze has to use a timeout. And you can see the frustration all over Alvin Kamara. Not a good start with this possession inside the 15. Why do we show George Halas? One of the cornerstones of this league. The George Halas Trophy will be awarded at the end of this game to the winning team. That trophy has undergone a makeover since the Saints last won it. After the 2009 season, as Drew Brees and the Saints try to get to their 2nd Super Bowl in franchise history. State Farm postgame show is coming up, and the trophy presentation will be a part of that. 2nd down and 10.
Ready. You ready, Basad?
Here's a toss to Kamara. Well played. That was Barron who got up and made the stop. No gain, and now timeout taken by the Rams. And now it's all out there in front of the Saints, and you go from trying to take the timeouts off the scoreboard, Troy, for the Rams. You have a decision to make here. Probably throw it here on 3rd down and long.
I believe that they'll throw it. I think it's going to be a high percentage play. You can see Sean Payton not happy about something, but Mark Barron, you called it. That was a great job by him of being able to slither his way back there and make a play, creating a 3rd and long. But I do believe that they're going to be safe with the throw by Breeze.
Safe, not a word that's used very often around the Saints or the Rams.
I understand.
But a good point on 3rd and 10. Quick snap. Breeze. Pass is incomplete. No flag for Tommy Lee Lewis. Nickel Roby-Coleman delivered a hit. And the two officials talk to each other. Crowd's going crazy as there's no flag right on the Saints sideline.
Well, if Nickel Roby-Coleman plays the ball, it's an interception. It's probably going the other way with it. I mean, the ball's on the other side of Roby-Coleman, but that should have been a penalty. And Sean Payton is justifiably upset.
Mike Pereira, if that was a penalty, that would have in essence ended the game. Did you think it was a penalty?
Yeah, I really do. I know it's easy in slow motion. They're close to bang bang, but that was early enough. Even high contact on the receiver. So you really could have had a foul either way.
This for the lead. 31-yard try is good. But after the 43-yarder, the Saints throw an incompletion, run it for no gain, and then this, and clearly contact before the ball got there.
Yeah, he had, I mean, all he was doing was staring down Lewis and just playing the man, and never got turned on. I mean, it can't be any more obvious than that. Yeah, I mean, Sean Payton, he just simply cannot believe it, nor can anyone that's in the stadium watching this.
If a flag is thrown there, the Saints have the ability to run the clock down to 4 seconds left and end the game with a field goal try, a chip shot. Instead, the Rams will get the ball back, down by 3, with 1 timeout on the scoreboard and 1:41 left.
Well, that sequence after that completion to Ted Ginn could not have gone worse for the Saints.
And the crowd lets the officiating crew hear it as Jared Goff trots onto the field, and he's got a chance. What he's done over the last 2 drives. He's been perfect, 7 for 7. Zerline, by the way, their kicker, has a ton of range. Both he and Lutz hit from over 60 yards out. during the pregame warmups.
Well, they're needing roughly 35 yards or so to get Zuerlein in range from what his longest field goal is.
Blitz from Davis. Goff hangs in. Pass incomplete for Reynolds. This Rams team lost a terrific young player in Cooper Kupp. When he went down with a torn ACL against Seattle in Week 10, Reynolds has stepped up. That was a drop. Cooper Kupp pictured. Goff throws, pass, caught. That's Reynolds. And Reynolds is able to spin his way out across the 40. A 19-yard completion from Jared Goff.
Well, based on the coverage, you wouldn't expect them to be able to complete that pass. But Marcus Williams playing so deep, they were able to.
Goff throws, pass incomplete for Everett. And that stops the clock with 1:12 remaining and one timeout for LA.
Well, we know what happened when the Saints, at the end of that first half, brought pressure. Goff was able to take advantage of it with the big play to Brandon Cooks. There's the green line that shows where they need to get to in order to give Zuerlein an opportunity.
But you know Sean McVay is not thinking about Zuerlein yet.
Not even close.
He wants to win it. Second and 10, pass caught by Cooks. He goes down at the 49, a gain of 7. Davis out there for the Saints. Pass is caught by Woods. Coverage was broken, and Woods, if he was able to keep his feet, would have walked into the end zone.
Yes, he would have scored had Goff had been able to get him a better throw. The middle was gone, and nobody really had an angle on him. See, P.J. Williams, he just kind of slips there and allows Robert Woods to get inside. He's able to keep his feet. Marcus Williams was the only one. I don't think he's able to make a play on him.
In case you're wondering, if they don't get another yard, it would be a 51-yard try from this spot. Zuerlein hit earlier in this year, 56 yards here in this stadium, Week 9. Range not an issue. Rams use their final timeout to stop the clock. With the ball at the New Orleans 33.
Well, if you're Dennis Allen, knowing that they are in Zuerlein's range now, it's one thing trying to keep him out of field goal range to tie this game up, but now that he's in field goal range, you just simply cannot give up the big play. These safeties in particular, they have to know that.
Goff to Gurley. Brought down from behind. Anzalone and Hendrickson on the tackle, a gain of 4, and the clock continues. To the sideline and incomplete. You can see Sean Payton is still pleading his case. No call on this contact from Nickel Roby-Coleman on Tommy Lee Lewis. And that has led to this drama in a 3-point game.
There's no timeout, so if they catch this and the clock's running, Goff has got to know the situation, and if it's short, they can't clock it. It's third down here if they're short of the first.
Just got it away. Pass is incomplete. Now it's 4th down, and Zuerlein will come on for the biggest kick of his life.
Well, Goff, he panicked a little bit and did not want to take a sack. And had he have hung in there, there wasn't enough pressure on him to throw it away like he did. But he had 2 guys, one taking the middle that could have been a huge play.
48-yard try. Timeout taken by the Saints prior to the snap. And a little more time for Zuerlein, who came in 68 of 75 over the last 2 years, to think about it. And I think that's probably what McVay's talking about with his young quarterback as Jared Goff came to the sideline. That 3rd down.
Well, you could see, so you couldn't hear me. He instructed him for something, and it wasn't executed the way that he wanted. Now, Hecker, I think he definitely saw the official coming in to wave that off with the timeout from the Saints. But after he received the snap, he acted as though he would fake it. Surely, Sean McVay would not call fake field goal here.
Five for 7 in this range this season. Zuerlein. The kick is good. Zuerlein clutch, and with 15 seconds left, we're tied at 23.
It's a good thing he's got a draw and not a fade, because this ball looked like it was fading outside that right upright. As it started to waver a little bit, I didn't think it was going to come back, but it sure did. That's trusting your swing right there.
Zuerlein's been so good and All-Pro last year, missed 5 games this season with a groin injury. And he's been good for this franchise going back to their days in St. Louis. This is his first taste of the postseason. Was injured last year. 3 for 3 in this one. 6 for 7 against the Dallas Cowboys and now the New Orleans Saints. Well, when the Saints won the NFC Championship game, we were in this stadium after the 2009 season. It took overtime to beat the Vikings and Brett Favre. And Kamara is going to give it a shot. Has to be careful with the football, and with 8 seconds left, it looks like we're headed to another NFC Championship overtime game in this stadium. Brett Favre was just punished by a Greg Williams defense over and over, and then typical Brett Favre kept coming back for more. Threw that interception toward the end of regulation, and it was Garrett Hartley who won it from 40 yards out to send New Orleans to Super Bowl 44, where they beat the Indianapolis Colts, and this crowd still letting the officials hear it from that no call a moment ago.
You see those highlights from that last championship game, and you realize what a difference in the rules have made for these quarterbacks now. I mean, every one of those calls, every one of those hits anyway, would have been penalties in today's game.
And back at that time, the rule was not in place where each side gets to possess the football. So that was obviously important as Drew Brees did his usual good work to end up with a victory. And now Mike Pereira. We'll hear from Bill Vinovich, and then you can add on for what we expect rules-wise in overtime.
Play a modified sudden death. Both teams will have an opportunity to possess the ball unless the first team scores a touchdown. Okay? After that, it's just like we're starting a new game, except all replays are upstairs. We're still the visitors. He's called heads. It is tails. You want the ball. Which way? You got it.
Mike?
The difference here in the playoffs is the fact that we will play on until the winner. It's just like starting a new game. We'll go 4 quarters. It's regular timing rules. Replay will handle all of the replays that we have to do. But otherwise, we're going to play until we actually get a winner here in Mercedes-Benz Superdome. We'll be back.
The game this has been between the Saints and the Rams, the top 2 seeds in the NFC. Still framed from that no call, which will be talked about, no doubt, depending on who wins. 23-23, 15 minutes on the clock. Both teams have the opportunity to possess the ball unless the initial possession ends in a touchdown or a defensive score. Kamara brings it out and is careful as he tiptoes out of bounds, forced out by Hager. And they will mark him at the 26.
Well, it seems kind of fitting that after 60 minutes of play, it's all knotted up. As you mentioned, these 2 teams, the best 2 teams in the NFC throughout the season. And we'll see who's going to punch their ticket to Super Bowl 53.
Mike 2-6, Mike 2-6. Ready. You ready? What's that?
Breeze, that ball was batted down at the line of scrimmage. Had Thomas flashing across the middle of the field, looked to be open. Brockers got it.
Yeah, he was definitely open, and he was going to pick up a nice gain. So Michael Brockers, he's able to keep that from happening because it was pretty soft there in the middle.
Mike 2-6. Hey, easy. Stay there. Yeah, stay there, stay there. Start the play. 52, ready. We ready? What's that?
2nd and 10. Breeze down the middle. Receiver stumbled. That was Arnold. And now a flag comes in. Remember, they're without their top 2 tight ends. Hill has been lost in this game. Watson deactivated before the start of it.
Pass interference. Defense number 26. Flat foul. Automatic first down.
It's against Mark Barron right in the middle.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Right there is what they got the call. It's a pretty good call, considering they missed the one earlier that Sean Payton was so upset before the end of regulation. That was not much, but the correct call.
Here is Ingram not going down, and now Aaron Donald gets to him, and a big loss on the play. And Ndamukong Suh, the first guy there, and Ingram spun his way into a 6-yard loss.
Well, I'm like Drew Brees. I thought they'd blown it dead, you know, and Suh has him held up, and then Aaron Donald looked like he was about to take him out. I thought they were going to blow it. Brees was trying to explain to the ref, hey, wait a minute, that shouldn't be a loss of yardage, but yet they didn't. Wound up benefiting the Rams.
Again, the Saints win this game on this possession if they score a touchdown. Breeze, protection breaks down, ball is up for grabs and caught, picked off by John Johnson. That ball hit at the line of scrimmage, and John Johnson on his back hauls in the biggest interception of his young career.
Well, it's Dante Fowler who is able to get to Breeze and hit him as he's trying to throw the football. The guy they made the trade for right before these 2 teams met last time. John Johnson's on his back. He falls down after the contact and is able to make the play as he's fallen down. They hadn't been able to create a takeaway the entire game. It's what they've kind of lived on defensively throughout this year. It's a heck of a play by Dante Fowler, as well as John Johnson.
And it gives the Rams the football at their own 46 with their best starting field position of the game. Goff under pressure, pass is caught by Higbee. And Tyler Higbee with a first down, brought down by Von Bell. A gain of 12.
What a job by Jared Goff in the pocket. When you boot to your left, it's harder to get the ball out quickly if there's pressure in your face immediately. Okafor was right there. He anticipates the pressure, he pulls up, and with a sidearm throw, delivers a good pass.
Blitz, ball is bobbled, and Anderson just able to get the handle again. Brought down with a loss on the play of 3 yards by A.J. Klein.
Well, they were fortunate there not to put the ball on the ground. You have to secure the football, but the loss of yardage now puts them behind the sticks.
Second down and 13. Timeout taken by Sean McVay.
Well, you look at where they are right now, Joe. I mean, Goff just has to realize that he doesn't necessarily have to pick up this first down. He just get a few more yards. They're in a position right now, it'd be a 63-yard field goal that they could certainly make the attempt. Start getting a little nervous about that if you don't make it, and then giving the ball to the Saints with great field position at midfield, but they don't need much to make it a real comfortable attempt for Greg Zuerlein.
You saw Todd Gurley on the sideline. This young team on the road. They get 4 carries for 10 yards from Gurley, and yet here they are with a chance to win it. Here's Goff throwing. Higbee makes the catch. And what a job by Jared Goff. He had Von Bell all over him and able to spin and throw and complete it for 6.
Well, they're trying to block, sorry, Joe, they're trying to block Cam Jordan with Gerald Everett, and he's not able to do it. Cam Jordan had a free shot on Goff, and that's 2 plays now where they could have very easily have been lost yardage, and he gets the ball out, not only avoiding the sack, but completions and positive gains.
Yeah, it was Bell and Jordan. What a job by Goff. And now 3rd down and 7. It would be a 57-yard try from this spot.
And if they do in fact throw it, Goff has to know he just simply cannot take a sack.
Safe throw. Cooks drops it. And that will bring on Greg Zuerlein to try and send the Rams to the Super Bowl. Here's the pressure by Dante Fowler, who got his hands up. What ended up being an interception. It has led to this opportunity for the Rams to win it. 57-yard try. And Sean Payton takes a timeout. And Mike Pereira, just as we look at that replay again with Dante Fowler coming in, and that pressure in the face of Drew Brees led to the interception by John Johnson. Let's talk about the play. Contact down the field. Was the ball tipped? There's a lot in play on that turnover.
Yeah, well, first thing you had to do is decide whether it was tipped or not. Didn't look to me like it was, but here the receiver turns into the defender who has that position that Troy talked about earlier. So, and in a fluttered ball like that, a pass, you're not going to have interference on either team.
That was the first turnover by the Saints in this game. And this 57-yard try would be a Rams postseason record if it's good, and would send Los Angeles to Super Bowl 53. The kick is good. Rams win it, and on to Super Bowl 53 they go. Sean McVay and this Rams team on the road. And what a job by Johnny Hekker to get that snap from Jake McQuaid, get the football on its end, and then Zuerlein drills it from 57 to win the ball game.
Well, the special teams unit has been a big part of the turnaround for the Los Angeles Rams for the last few years. And John Fossil's done a terrific job with that unit, and you're right. That's a great job of getting the hold, getting the ball down. And Greg Zuerlein, a couple times now in this game, the last two kicks have been right on the money in clutch pressure situations.
Sean McVay, the reigning AP coach here, has guided his Rams team into Super Bowl 53 and getting a win on the road. Aaron Donald, the reigning defensive player of the year from 2017, celebrating, and those Rams fans who are here in attendance loving every turn of that football through the uprights. Let's go down to Chris Myers.
Thanks, Akeem Talib handing himself. Congratulations, the youngest quarterback to win an NFC championship game. You and the Rams are going to the Super Bowl.
Unbelievable, man. Can't put it into words. The fight we have, being down, I think, what was it, 13-0, 10-0 early, and we come back. Our defense play the way they did. We'll force it to overtime. The defense gets a pick. Greg makes a 57-yarder to win. That was good from about 70. Unbelievable.
All right, so tell us about when you got the ball in overtime after the interception. Were you thinking just get in field goal range? All you needed was points to win it. Talk to us about that offensive approach.
Yeah, just trying to score. Just trying to get in field goal range. Actually messed a couple things up there on a couple of those plays, but was able to get the ball out to Tyler there, and he made a play.
There was a stretch in there where you were 7 for 7 in 2 back-to-back drives to bring this team back. Had to make an adjustment with Todd Gurley not playing a lot in the game. What was the adjustment?
Yeah, you just had to feed off of what we were doing, and CJ was running the ball well, and I expect Todd to have a hell of a game in the Super Bowl, though, and I can't believe I'm even saying that. It's surreal, but we're ready to go, and I know Todd's ready to go.
All right, and finally, low-key, you can celebrate, you can smile, have fun.
Let's have fun, Chris.
All right, well, have fun. All right, thank you. Good luck to you, Joe.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, the Rams become the first road team to win a conference title game in 6 years. This will be talked about plenty. The non-call on Nickel Roby-Coleman on that early contact on Tommy Lee Lewis. But as it stands, the Rams, who never led throughout the game, get the game-winning field goal in overtime. Back after this.